Dr. Pooplove here, and today I want to talk about some brand new details that we have gotten regarding The Last of Us 2 multiplayer, factions, standalone, Battle Royale maybe? Specifically, I want to talk about the recent Battle Royale data mining leaks, Naughty Dog co-director's own words on whether there is room for more Battle Royales in this day and age, and talk about Naughty Dog's aggressive hiring push. Like Abby with a golf club aggressive. Watch out. And if you want to see more Factions 2 content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. But let's get right into it. The first bit of news we have is that YouTuber Speclizer uncovered some interesting assets when data mining The Last of Us Part 2. During this data mining sesh, he uncovered some interesting things. Most notably, he uncovered a map which seems to weave several parts of The Last of Us Part 2's story together, from parts of Seattle to parts of even Jackson, Wyoming, like the motel area. And this is quite large in scope, which could be a sign that a battle royale is in the works. Now, this has been a rumor for a while now, and other leaks have also kind of pointed towards a battle royale mode. And given the complexity of a mode as ambitious as a battle royale, it does seem to explain why we haven't gotten a game yet. Also shown was a listen mode device. This weird object is very interesting to me. Now, in battle royales and many multiplayers, you don't have listen mode automatically on your person. So this might kind of be Naughty Dog's way of letting you use listen mode in the game, but trying to balance it out so that you don't have it all the time. Seems like maybe you would drop this device onto the ground somewhere and it would give you a radius in which you can use listen mode. The next asset is called a handheld TV, which it's kind of hard to guess what this is, but perhaps it's a device you could use to look at a camera on a drone, kind of like in Warzone, that you can use to kind of find out where the enemies are. Potentially also it can help you hack into cameras or see from some other angle, although I don't know how realistic that would be in a post-apocalyptic setting where cameras are still working. I don't know. Next up is a dog collar, which to me seems like you might be able to spawn a dog companion to maybe help sniff out the enemies and do a little side damage. This to me just kind of screams sidekick, kind of like Uncharted, which was not something I particularly liked, and I know a lot of people aren't super thrilled about the thought of spawning in sidekicks within this game, but I could totally see this happening. So if anything, this maybe just helps prepare us for that reality. But then also in a follow-up tweet, Speclizer brought up that he had also uncovered armor at various levels. And this to me also kind of points towards a battle royale, in that in most battle royales you build up your armor to various levels. Warzone, for instance, you have armor plates which you can collect and put on your person for varying degrees of armor. Now, of course, all of these things are pretty rudimentary assets that don't seem fully developed and could have all been scrapped, but I do think this does give us a very nice window as to some of the design and maybe thoughts that Naughty Dog had, at least in the initial stages of developing this multiplayer before it got delayed. But you all should go check out Speclizer's video. I'll link it in the description because it's just very interesting to see all this behind the scenes type stuff. But let's move on to some more news. Now, this next bit of info is an interesting window into Naughty Dog's own take on the Battle Royale genre. On Monday, Sancho West, who we all know as the real OG Factions YouTuber, tweeted about Battle Royales in general and the idea that there are 3 Apex Legends, Fortnite, and Warzone which have risen to the top and are currently dominating the multiplayer landscape, but that some developers, like Naughty Dog, may have the potential to enter that space. Well, this tweet got a reply from Naughty Dog's own co-director, Vinit Agarwal, stating that he does not see Battle Royales as a fad, but more like a format, like deathmatch. He also mentioned that with a good idea and execution, there's room for more Battle Royales. So, Naughty Dog's own co-director believes Battle Royales are not just a passing fad, and that there's room for more. Pooper Troopers, I don't know what to tell you, but I think we're getting a Battle Royale. Not sure how many more clues we need at this point, but unless they truly tried this and failed to execute, which, I mean, this is Naughty Dog, but unless that's the case, I just don't see us not getting one. I know a lot of people don't want a Battle Royale, but I think it would be interesting, and I don't see the harm of getting one if it's in addition to these other modes that we love. But let's move on to the next news we have. This past Friday, Naughty Dog Jobs issued a tweet advertising specifically that they're hiring for multiplayer positions for their first standalone game. Beyond further confirming what we had already discovered within job postings that this was going to be Naughty Dog's first standalone multiplayer game, this tweet shows jobs that have been advertised for a while now. And many in the community are pointing to this as proof that this game is not anywhere close to done. Now, one thing I think we need to keep in mind is that for a live service multiplayer game, hiring does not stop after launch or even leading up to launch, because you need people to keep iterating on the live service game, creating patches and new map updates and releases after the game is live. So that's not to say that this game is close, but that does make it very hard to predict as to whether these roles are for the purpose of keeping the game alive after launch or for the initial base development of the core of the game. To me, I think the biggest clue here that the game might not be ready for release in the short term is that the monetization designer is not hired yet. And I would think that they would need monetization kind of figured out prior to launch. Perhaps someone else is getting that initial strategy pulled together, but my sense is that this role will need to be hired first in order to help develop a monetization strategy before release so that Naughty Dog can make the money they want to make, which in turn will fund their ability to continue to support the game for years and years to come. Now, this doesn't change my mind. In my last video, I stated that I think this game will be announced in less than a month on The Last of Us Day. I still believe that, but the actual release date is a different story. Beyond just this tweet are some notable quote tweets from Naughty Dog devs, which I think give us a nice little window and further insight into the development and vision of this game. First up is Paul Bashai, who quote tweeted, "Ambitious things happening in MP. Join our team." Now, I think we've all pretty much assumed for a while now that this game is going to be more ambitious than the original Factions. I think it's safe to say that the fact that this game is not out yet, we're not just going to be getting the 3 base modes that we got from the original with improved graphics. I know a lot of people only want those things, and I of course need there to be supply raid, but I welcome them raising the bar because they are Naughty Dog, of course. Next up is a quote tweet from Vinit Agarwal, co-director of the multiplayer game, and he says, "We're aggressively hiring. Apply if you want to be part of bringing the cinematic experience between players in our new standalone multiplayer action game." Now there's a lot to unpack here, but firstly he says they are aggressively hiring. To me, aggressive hiring implies they're making some sort of a big push to potentially get this thing over the finish line. Of course, we have no idea how long of a big push that might be, but I think if this game were years away, they wouldn't really be saying the words aggressive. The other part here is that he says that this is going to be a cinematic experience, which is not something you often hear for a multiplayer game. It's an interesting choice of words. Now, in my video, The Last of Us 2 multiplayer new details, I talked about a few multiplayer job openings at Naughty Dog and some of the descriptions, which contain some very interesting words like narrative and dialogue. And I talked about that it seemed to me like this was pointing towards there being some sort of a story in this game. And this choice of words here seems to further point us in that direction. Why shouldn't Naughty Dog play into their storytelling strengths to create a more immersive experience? Perhaps Naughty Dog is planning to flesh out more of the clan metagame with more fully realized factions lore, story, and characters. Now, all of this information that we have received over the past couple weeks is really getting me hyped for the potential of what this game could be. It seems to be that this game is much bigger in scope than we could have ever imagined. A lot of us are still playing the original factions with only some bare basic elements, so to know that this game is going to be much bigger has me really excited. But what do you all think about all this information? Do you think that we'll be getting this game anytime soon? Let me know in the comments. But otherwise, so long, Pooper Troopers.